Hey guys, jumping on a nightly shave this time with it back in my rhythm. This is the 20102 from Omega, a long throw brush, boar brush, and so we are going to give it a few minutes to soak. It's already been soaking for maybe almost 3 minutes, and I want to give it a few more because this guy, as an Omega brush, I've got one Omega that's really kind of floppy but super soft and comfy, but all my other Omegas are kind of like brooms. They're stiff and prickly for quite a while. This one's sometimes not prickly, but I want to put him in the best light as possible, and so I want to make sure he gets a nice long soak. I forgot to put him in ahead of time, but we're also trying to get him caught up to the other boars that I have in the borathon that I'm doing. I'll probably do austere August, so I don't guess I'll be able to do the borathon too much because I'll probably pick one set of gear to do during all of August. So that'll be fun to try to figure out what I want to do for that. So that's the brush. This is the razor for today. This is an easy to get razor off eBay. It's a 40s style Gillette Super Speed. It's a vintage razor. Doesn't cost very much on eBay at all. Inside we'll put the Bolzano we've been using for the last couple days. It has 18 uses on it. Sorry, 13. I missed by 5. Counted my groups wrong. It didn't do well with the Tatara for me in the Nadachi, the more aggressive head setup. It did better in the Wolfman yesterday, but I chose this razor to go with an everyman razor. Not everybody has a Wolfman, or maybe not even everybody has a razor that clamps down right on the edge like the Wolfman does. And so today this will be a razor that's available easily at about any budget, can handle it. In that same vein, the soap for today is Proraso. I do speak on Proraso every once in a while because for American prices, about $11 or $15 for this tub, it's just not worth that much money to me, in my opinion. You can sometimes get these tubs at a place like TJ Maxx or Marshall's, and when you can do that for $4, it's probably worth that. But it's not a great performing soap. It's kind of mediocre. The scent, now that's different. On this red, it's a wonderful, authentic sandalwood scent that I really, really enjoy and have enjoyed from day one. This is one of the ones I picked up early on in my shaving journey because it was just spoken about so much. I had to try it, but I've only used it half a dozen times because the lather just isn't as great as so many other soaps out there. And if you bought this at a $15 price point, then I would say there are a ton of soaps out there at that same price point or better that perform better. So I haven't used them much, but a friend of mine online, can't remember if it was Malthus or Needs More Menthol on Reddit, said I should give it another try. He likes it a lot. So that's what we're going to do today. Going to just give it another try. Get my face a little wet. He also mentioned I think a new formula, a new base that has come out with Proraso called the Super something, Super Sapone, I don't know. And I think, and I believe I've seen the images of that, and so somewhere here it would say Super, and so that's the way you would tell the difference. And he says that's a much better formula. But he said even the original, he liked okay. So it's been so long that I've worked with this guy. I think I have done it once in the last 6 months or so. But let's give it another chance, a fair shake. Well, that's what happens when you look at your watch with a tub in your hand. So the brush is soaked for about 8 minutes, so that should be just fine. Hey, why not we look at it? This is what the puck of Proraso looks like as it conforms to the shape of the bowl. And mine has reduced in size because of the time that it has spent in my den. because I haven't used it very much, and so it's lost moisture, so that's why it popped right out. All right, let's load her up. Let's do a full 30 seconds, which is kind of what I normally do for soaps when I don't have a formula. Let's give it a shot. All right. I may have to squeeze the tub to keep the soap from moving around. No, it looks pretty good. Looks like I probably started at about 18. Medium pressure. Love that sandalwood scent coming up from it. So if there's a tub of Proraso that I'm going to keep, it's going to be this one. And that's 30 seconds. Doesn't look like a ton on the brush, and that's okay. It doesn't have to. There are people who will fight you if you tell them that Proraso just is not an amazing soap. I'm guessing it's because they just haven't tried a lot of other soaps, or maybe they lather a certain way, maybe super thick, I don't know, super dry, who knows. Roger Quintero Lather Bowl, instructions for it are plans for it to be able to 3D print it are in the description of the video. There's a link to the plans that Roger put together. Also, if you go to sugardaddyshaves.com, no, I'm not selling anything there. You can go to the 3D printing page and it will tell you 3 printing services that are online, because most of us don't have 3D printers. But it'll tell you there are 3 of my viewers, and I thank you so much, guys, for giving me that info. And I posted that on the website there. There are 3 services that you can use that have been reported to be reputable ones from my viewers. They'll print it up for you if you upload the files to them, and then they will charge you and then mail it to you. Oh, that scent is so good. That's 2 teaspoons now of water. I just got finished listening to the last and final Lather Games podcast. They did on the wet shaving subreddit for the Lather Games, which we just finished last month. They did a podcast every week, and they just did the final one where they had the main winner on and talked about we're talking about shaving. Isn't that crazy? They talked about some of the honorable mentions. There was a side contest that IMSMS did, and he had geared that one toward people who talked about the history of the razors they were using. I thought that was really a great contest to have, and I really wish that this month had not been such a one of upheaval for me, with lots of stress and strain and change and things that really kept me from. I would have really enjoyed putting a lot more effort than I did into that. But even at my normal method of telling you what I know about the razors that I'm using, he gave me an honorable mention on that one, and I thought I was grateful for that. It's a great contest that he did, and he gave away some neat prizes to the winners. And when on the podcast, they told some of the things that the guys were doing for that award, and I thought that's just tremendous. Some of the history they were going back and looking at, and I believe the user was Tonality. That might have been going back and really giving you a picture of what history was like at the time that razor was created, and different things like that. I thought that was really cool. So the lather looks pretty good right now, looking pretty slick. Look at that, very elastic. So at this point, let's just make sure we have a nice mix. I mean, I've never said it was a bad soap. I just said it was kind of a mediocre soap. It does the job. It does it well. Let's see if I was wrong. Maybe I didn't whip it up the right way previously. I do think the people who just blindly think it's amazing or have their allegiances misplaced, and there are definitely soaps that are just as good for less price and all that, and it's definitely not top tier. So let's just try it out here. Pretty good. Someone said, chemically speaking, it's not even a soap. It's using like chemicals to froth up and things like that. I can't remember what was said in that regard. All right. Wet on the face. Less than 24 hours on today's shave. See how the Bolzano does. In a more normal razor. Got some lather jumping ship pretty quick there. My brush style here. And look how this, it's like it needs some more water or something. Just kind of dissipating here. Could be the oils on my face. Did I push too much water in it and now it doesn't have enough substance? Looked pretty creamy in the bowl just now, didn't it? I don't feel like I should add more water, but this is not very, I've had to go back and dip in the bowl twice. This just is not an impressive lather at all. Let's feel of it with my hands here. Can I feel the slickness? Yeah, see, the slickness is just blah. It's like barely better than water. So my guess is I should not push more water into this. This is just, it looks nice, visually speaking, but it's big hat, no cattle, if you've ever heard that expression before. So what let's do, let's assume this needs to be run a little drier. Go back a couple of seconds on the tub. See if we can kind of beef up the lather a little bit. Work that a little, and then we can add some more water to it. Obviously we don't want to add too much since our goal was to increase the soap, but we do need to give a little bit of water for this newly added soap to kind of work with. Because maybe I just pushed too much water into it. Maybe this is not a soap that can handle that much. So that's 4 teaspoons in it. And I've got some lather right here in my hand. Yeah, that, I mean, it cushion wise it feels nice, but that contact slickness, just barely anything. Sorry. Don't think I'm going to be changing my verdict on this guy. I mean, it'll work. But just like I said, so many better ones. And I was talking to somebody online, I don't know, maybe a year ago by now, and they were saying that Proraso creams are just the best creams on the planet. They don't even come close. Of course, creams aren't really spectacular anyway, but in my opinion. Light touch. And I barely feel the blade. I feel it cutting and moving through the hairs very nicely. So this blade is definitely behaving a little better for me than it has in the past. Maybe this one really needs a chance to smooth out with some use, you know? Or could be that this is just the razor that works the best for me with this blade, you know? Definitely a sweet spot where certain blades work best in certain razors. Sometimes, now once you get really good technique, then you can get a pretty good shave with just about any combination out there. But then when you start to push the envelope regarding certain nuances, like I want a really sharp blade and a really mild razor, or vice versa, then you can start getting into, well, this is definitely a better blade for this scenario, for my skin, you know, that sort of thing. All right, let's do a quick rinse. So since I think we figured out that the stuff in the tub here looked nice but wasn't quite soapy enough, let's just load a bit. And combine it with what's in the bowl. Just a few seconds there in the soap tub. Fill the brush up by shoving it down into the lather. See how it does now. This is not the brush to be face lathering with. It's still quite prickly. Having to rework the lather again kind of carries a bit of a penalty in comfort with this brush at this stage. Light touch again. This razor is working really well with the Bolzano. Sometimes I think I remember the Bolzano being a little bit of a pricey blade. And so when it gave me trouble the first time I tried it in a sampler, I did not revisit it anytime soon. But then a friend of mine took it to 100. So I thought, I wonder if this guy is just kind of rough in the beginning. Maybe he smooths out. At least with this shave in this razor, that kind of feels like what's going on. Oh, hey, did I tell you? Lather Games, I won a brush. A really good one, too. A Declaration Grooming B4, I think I told you. With a That Darn Rob handle. I like a lot of his designs, the coloring on it. I was able to see a photo. Looks really neat. And the B4 or not is just, I put it on the high list of my preferences because that might be so far my perfect knot from Declaration Grooming. In terms of the rinses, I almost feel like I am rinsing water off my face. There's no activating any kind of soap layer that's on there. There's no luxury slickness at all. There's a tiny bit of a slight soapy kind of slickness, but that is it. As always, the scent remains wonderful on this sandalwood type scent. At least that part they nailed correctly in terms of what I like to see in a sandalwood. It's kind of an authentic kind. Stirling sandalwood is very sweet, kind of smooth and mild. This one's more kind of woody. And this razor is handling the Bolzano very nice. And as we get to my little trouble area here, we're going to switch directions from the previous passes and try to clean that area up a little better. So that's a pretty comfy shave with the Bolzano. And rinse. Now I just had a thought. Maybe this soap was designed to be not used and pushed with water like I have. That's how I like my soaps usually. The higher quality soaps, you can really pound a lot of water in there and they stay together, they stay slick. They are really high performance lathers at that point. This guy right here may be the reason he's so popular, aside from just that's what we've been using for years, and so it's the one I like to use now. I think that's probably 90% of why. As a matter of fact, I described it to somebody once. It's kind of like Harley Davidsons. They don't perform as well as other bikes in most cases. They're a lot more expensive. The budgets and the company is really geared more toward marketing than it is on motorcycle performance and reliability and things like that. It's really more of a marketing machine. Proraso may be in a similar way, and people may be behind it like the Americans are with Harley Davidsons, because it's just kind of a cultural icon at this point. And they're kind of resting on their laurels, that sort of thing. So I think that's really what's going on with a lot of the Proraso stuff. However, maybe this soap could be designed to be whipped up with less water, which is kind of convenient for face latherers. It means they don't have to work as much on their face to get it to that point. And so, that could be a way that this Proraso might be a good tool, a good soap. But in terms of the consistency that I've shown you today, it is lackluster. It works, but so many things are easily better than this. But as I've always said, the scent on this, that's nice. That's nice. All right, we did do a final rinse there. Let us, just like yesterday, I just feel like continuing with the Stirling Sharp Dressed Man Balm. I definitely do not feel that the Proraso imparted any skin health things. Now I think, is there argan oil or something like that? I think that was in the aftershave lotion. The text is so small. Well, it's there. I didn't find it right away. Anyway, my skin did, even with such a mild little razor, they gave a really a good job there. My skin's not really walking away super happy, but it's okay. Let's put it this way, I was grateful for the balm a little bit. So the 30 seconds looks like it was about the right load to use, because, you know, we've got enough for another maybe 2 passes if I needed it. And I like this, about this kind of margin left over in case I botched something. But I would definitely maybe use less, I would definitely use less water next time. Just to see if that might be a solution for this particular soap. It just may be configured to be more dry and to work better dry. So while the Bolzano worked pretty well with today's razor, in fact, this little razor, he might work really well with just about anything you put in him. He's a good guy. And he's the super speed that I kind of like the looks of, a little bit better than those flare tips. Turns out I like the performance of him better too. I didn't know it at the time, but that's just the way it worked out. So he's a great little guy. I think that I just wouldn't have a problem shaving with him all the time if I got robbed or something like that. Some kind of disaster caused me to have to get stuck with one razor. If he was it, I'd be fine with that. All right, well, everything's packed up. That was a good little shave. The Bolzano, it's a nice little blade, it turns out, if you put it in a razor like that. At least for my skin it is. I think I'll move on to the next popular one that was chosen in the Blade voting. I'll try to remember to put the URL for that underneath this video in the description, so we can keep voting. And the Kai and the Vashkot, I believe, were the 2 that were next in terms of popularity, what people wanted to see. Had about 50 votes come in. I think that's a pretty good little amount to work with. And I gave, for the first place, for the blade you put for first place, I gave 4 points. 3 points for second place, 2 points for third, and 1 point for fourth. Just to kind of give them each a little bit of weight to it, so that if we had one blade that was just amazingly consistent in second, that it would be kind of placed high, because that's something to think about. So the who knows what we'll do tomorrow, the Kai or the Vashkot, I believe, but I think maybe we'll do that. All right. Hey, that's a good shave today. Happy to be wearing the Sharp Dressed Man. That's nice. It doesn't really flow very well with the from the sandalwood of the soap there, but that's okay. It can be a step sometimes. It can be a story and then a break and then the pickup of another story. That's okay. That's the way I look at it sometimes. So yeah, soap performance not that great this time. I'll try it again without pushing as much water into it. I think maybe I'll try it next time just to kind of put the issue to bed, so that I could speak with a little bit of experience that I gave it a good shot. I think that's what I'm talking about. And very good, very good. Now the Vashkot hasn't been all that kind to me. The Kai has been pretty good for me. The Vashkot's been kind of, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So I'm looking forward to putting that through a few razors, and we'll see how it ends up. All right, folks. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I sure hope there's been something in this video that's going to help you out. You take care. Good night.